So here's an Epicure, same thing as yours. Mine's white, yours is red. First thing you gotta get is a towel or something soft, so you can put the clock down on it like that and not mess up the glass. The other thing you're gonna need is a screwdriver like this, okay? And this one says 1/8, so a little bit smaller than the typical, most common screwdriver. And what you need to do is take these two screws out of the back here, and that's going to expose the stuff that we need to get at. So these are just regular screws. This one's having a problem for some reason, but it'll come off there. I think it's out. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so take this off, and there we can see the issue that we have. This is called the coil, this part up here, and this is called the rotor. And your problem is going to be located in the rotor. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take out this screw, and we'll be able to pull the coil and the rotor off of there. So what they did when they made these clocks is this thing called the rotor is the essence of the clock's movement. And they put a bit of oil in there when they made it. And over time, that oil broke down and got gummy. And when that happens, it slows the clock down and also causes it to make a bunch of noise. So what we have to do is somehow get oil back into that rotor, and everything's going to work fine. There's a couple of different ways to do it. I drill. There are guys who don't drill, and you may want to look at this option. They do use this heating and cooling method to get oil back in it. But once I've got these two screws out, what I'm going to do is pull up like this, and the rotor is attached to the coil. It's just set in there. We can put the coil off to the side. Okay, you're going to have these things right here, which are called spreader posts. Put that off to the side. This is what we're dealing with, and get this right, the whole clock is going to work. Okay, so what I do is I drill a hole at 10 o'clock. If you're looking at this, 10 o'clock. So say that's 12 o'clock, that's 11 o'clock, that's about 10 o'clock. So I put a little mark on there. And what I do is I take a drill bit and a drill, and I just drill a hole in there. And the hole's not real big. It's big enough so that I can slide a syringe, a needle in there to put more oil back in there. And so I would go and drill the hole in the rotor, and I have a syringe like this, but you can use a syringe from a local pharmacy. It doesn't matter, okay? Just so long as the hole in your rotor is a little bit bigger than your syringe, you'll be set. These things don't take a lot of oil, very little, in fact. And the type of oil that I use is just automatic transmission fluid. Okay, so you go to Walmart, you can buy automatic transmission fluid, or any auto parts store, Advance, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, etc. Probably gonna cost you like $7, I think. But if you buy it, it lasts for a long time because you only use so little of it on each rotor. If you are living someplace that has some chemicals in the garage, look around, you can probably find this, okay? It's DOT3 is what I'm using. It's DOT, stands for Department of Transportation 3. It's the most common type of brake fluid out there. So what I would do is I would draw up in here. If you notice, there's a 1 on there. This rotor only takes 0.65, so just barely past half of the way from here to the 1. And I usually do is just draw up to the 1 right there, and then what I do is I take the rotor after I put the hole in it, stick it in there, and squirt the oil in. Now, if you're going to go this route with drilling and using a syringe to re-oil it, what I do after that is I just simply take this thing and I leave it up like this for about 3 minutes. Then I turn it upside down like this for about 3 minutes. Put it on its side like this for 3 minutes. And I put my finger over the hole and I shake it around. And you can hear a little rattling sound that's supposed to be there. And I get the fluid dispersed in there. Then what I do is I take the coil, okay, and I put the rotor back in. You'll notice on the coil, on the rotor, there's it's stamped, it says top. Okay, so that's the way it should look, just like that. And what I've done is I've taken an old cord and I've cut off the ends of each wire. Okay, so this cord right here, I cut this and I attached alligator clips. You don't need to do that. You could take an old cord off of anything and just get some of the wire exposed on each of these. But what I do is I put the rotor back in here and I attach the clips to either side and then plug it in. Okay, and that you'll see the rotor start to turn. This gear right here will start to turn counterclockwise. And usually after I re-oil them, there'll be some noise. And what I do is I rotate this like this. And if I do that, the noise will come out. And then I know I'm good to go. So after I've done that, disperse the oil, I take the rotor back out and I'm simply gonna put a piece of tape over this hole. Now the tape I use, because I do this a lot, is waterproof tape, okay, that I got at Walmart, and I just cut it into this kind of rectangular shape and put it over there. Show you what that looks like on this one right here, okay. But really, any kind of tape that will hold on there is good to go. It'll work for you. So after I've done that, I got to put it back together again. So I take the rotor. I've now added the oil in it, got it running so it's quiet. Put the tape over the hole. And what I want to do is take that gear and put it right down into there. Okay. And I kind of move it back and forth because I want it to rest on these 3 humps on there. Okay. Actually, on this one, you can see where those humps were. There, there, and there. Okay. So this gear has to spline with that gear inside of there. So I got to put it down in there and kind of shift it back and forth until I feel like it's down on there, on those 3 humps, and the gears have meshed up. The next thing I do is I take this spreader post, it has this like this, and I just put it on there like that. Okay, and I have this little flange pointing towards the top. The other one I'm going to put on there, but I'm going to have the flange pointed towards the bottom. Okay, then I'm going to take my coil, and what I need to do is I need to take this post and get it through that hole, and at the same time get the end of this rotor coming through here. Right? So sometimes it'll shift and be a problem. There wasn't, it went right on, so that's good. And what I typically will do is I'll take toothpicks and I'll put the toothpicks in these holes just to have everything stay lined up while I'm putting the screws in. So now I got that there. All I got to do is take out this toothpick, take my field coil screw, put it back in there. Now I don't want to immediately tighten this down all the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it down part of the way, and I'm going to stop. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to show you that. So I put that one in, turn it down, take out this toothpick, put this one in, and I do the same thing. I don't want to tighten it all the way down. I'm just going to get it down so it's still loose, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this tab from this spreader post and I'm going to push it in so it's up and underneath the rotor. And I have to do that also on the other side. Okay, so I got to put this tab now is on the top, but I got to push it in so it goes over top the rotor there. That's a little bit tricky. Okay, now that I've got that done, I can tighten down these 2 field coil screws, and I'm all set. Now when I plug it back in, this thing should run and run quiet. And that's it. Set the time. I'm going to put this back on, obviously, and the 2 screws to hold the back on. This is a rotor that I took off last night. It was not moving at all. All of the fluid had gone out of it, so it wasn't running at all. And I re-oiled it, and it's been running all night. So that's how easy it is, and it's quiet. It's just a matter of you know, taking the plunge and getting her done.